White supremacists are responsible for over 80% of terrorism in the United States in 2022. Let's get into the story. So the Anti-Defamation League, ADL, which is an organization that I myself have disagreements with, came out with a report recently in which it found that mass shootings in the United States accounted for the most extremism-related deaths in 2022, and over 80% of those mass shootings were carried out by white terrorists themselves. The ADL labeled 25 murders in 2022 as, quote, extremism-related or extremist-related, with 18 of those, quote, committed in whole or part for ideological motives. The report said that, quote, all the extremist-related murders in 2022 were committed, and this is very important, by right-wing extremists of various kinds, and that Americans are living in an age of extremist mass killings. The report also said that white terrorists, quote, commit the greatest number of domestic extremist-related murders in most years, but in 2022 the percentage was unusually high. So overall they commit the greatest number of terrorist attacks and murders related to terrorist attacks, but in 2022 it was unusually high in that 21 of the 25 murders were linked to white supremacists, end quote. The report goes on to provide examples, including the Buffalo, New York mass shooting in which a white terrorist murdered 10 black people in a supermarket, and another in November in Colorado Springs, where 5 people were killed in an LGBTQ nightclub. So white terrorism in America is not taken seriously. It's just not, especially when it comes from the ideological right in America. And politicians, especially Republicans, and even some Democrats, not only do not draft laws against white terrorism, but they ignore the entire topic completely, either because these kinds of people agree with them politically, or they know somebody like this in their family or friend pool, or because they are of the same race, white, like the people who carry out these terrorist attacks. And white terrorism isn't a new phenomenon. It's not. I read an article that linked it back to the 1970s. So it's been going on forever, and yet U.S. politicians don't do anything about it for the reasons I previously specified. With Muslims and other minority groups, these same scum politicians, both Republicans and Democrats, have zero issue drafting laws, especially discriminatory laws. But for white terrorists, they don't and won't do anything against. And it's not just Republicans and Democrats. The FBI is also part of the problem. They'll use terms like domestic terrorism and lone wolf, but won't call a spade a spade. White terrorism is white terrorism. Even the FBI director, Christopher Wray, spoke to Congress about the January 6th terrorist attack. He refused to use the term white terrorist and instead mentioned the word jihadist. So even the FBI isn't taking white terrorism seriously. And unfortunately, I believe because of that, I feel like it's only going to continue and get worse. White terrorist attacks are only going to continue. And so those are my thoughts on this story. Hit the like, it helps with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this story. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, then tweet me, let me know what you think about this story there. Take care.